This is Two Teachers Chat with your hosts, Brenda McCrate and Peggy Wilbur.
Good morning, Peggy. How are you?
Hi, Brenda. We are Two Teachers Chat.
And today I have a question for you. So you've taught older students, high school, even adult, and I want to know, how do you pull in those older students who don't seem to care or who act out? The unhappy students, yeah.
High school, GED, even community college students, it's very interesting because they have very strong emotions and they often are very unhappy, and as a teacher we don't know what it is that has made them unhappy. Most often before they come to class they're unhappy. They bring it with them. And so for example, I had one student in high school who really had difficulty reading, who was brilliant. And so he would come to school and his hair would be covering his eyes, you know. And what I did was I made it sort of a personal game. How many minutes would it be before he would flip the hair out of one eye so he could look at me, and then both eyes? And I would have to say it's relationship. And getting to know what matters to them. You know, why are they in this class? What is their dream? What do they want? And then how can we work what it is that they need to learn, such as how to read better, for them. So for example, I would have high school dropouts that were forced to be in my classes in order to get funding for their children. And so a lot of them had not yet gotten their learner's permit, and that's a high level of reading to be able to pass that test. And so I would bring in pages of that, because you can get them offline, and first we do this and then we will do that, and that's what you practice, you know, at home. I've had some students that just made class hard for quite a while, and I went into I noticed that you're wearing makeup today. I noticed that you have a new pair of sneakers on today. I call them sneakers. I have, something where I can talk to them one-on-one and establish a relationship that they could see that I cared about them. And there's even times when I've had to apologize. I had one student at the community college that just was making life hard. He was doing outbursts and saying, why do we have to learn this, and you know, this is stupid and all that. And finally I talked to him after class. I'm like, what is going on? And he said, I've already taken this class. And he had taken it in a different state and not passed it by 1 point.
1 point.
And he was miffed to have to be in my class. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, that's why you know so much of this. You know, it was the same book and everything. You know, and he's borrowing money to be in that class. And so I apologized to him that had happened to him, you know, and he had felt it was unfair. He was also very smart, you know, very capable. And I'm like, then we're going to have you help teach. You know, and give that person a buy-in and a way to help us all, because he had a body of knowledge that the other students didn't have. And so what I would say is go towards the student that is the most unhappy. You know, reach out to them and start a relationship with them. They push our buttons.
And get us annoyed and upset because we've worked so hard. But it goes back to what we've been talking about right along, relationships and communication. And a lot of these older students, whether they're adults or dropouts that have to go back, or, you know, or high school students that are struggling, they've had a lot of failure in school so far. So the natural defenses are really, really high there. But it goes back to relationships and communication again.
Well, and in addition to that, it is important for us to, as much as we can, say this is why we are doing this. Because their brains, these are adults.
Right.
You know,
they want the
good
why.
thinkers.
They want the why.
If they know the why, a lot of times they jump on board. They're like, oh, you know, if your child is sick and the hospital hands you these pieces of paper, let's look at one or two and see how we would attack reading this. It makes sense to us. You know, which ones are very important, like directions to take medicine, you know, those kind of things. And that they appreciate that. Making it relevant to them is everything. Yeah. And I would say even fourth graders deserve relevancy.
Well, yeah, and there's always a percentage of kids, even way down to kindergarten, that I call the why kids. And if it doesn't mean something to them, and it can be as simple as, we have to learn the names of the letters because that will help us read, and every adult needs to read. For a kindergartner, that's plenty of a why, but there's a percentage of the kids who need that why, or they really don't want to buy in. They don't see any reason for it. They don't do things because the teacher says. Right. They do things because there's a real reason.
Well, and also for those students, it's a lot more effort for them to, let's say, learn B versus D. And so it's not a easy thing, oh, I'm going to learn it today. For them, they're going to do a lot more work than the average student. And so I think they deserve the why. And in any case, the why is self-motivational.
It is.
You know, so, but adults are curious people. Their favorite homework was go home, look up on your phone a new topic, and read about it, and then come back and tell us what you have learned. You know, the Google moment. That's immediately relevant. And a lot of them do have phones, and so relationship is key, and the why is key, and they are wonderful students. Yeah. Older students are, I really enjoy teaching them too. Well,
time for coffee.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for watching 2 Teachers Chat. Until next time, and remember, teachers touch lives forever.